Hi everyone, welcome to lesson intro video for Unit 4, Lesson 1, Civilization Emerges in Mesopotamia. Here are the standards and objectives for the lesson. You can pause to read. The Fertile Crescent. The Fertile Crescent is a region of the Middle East that stretches in a large crescent-shaped curve from the Persian Gulf to the Mediterranean Sea. It lies between two rivers, the Tigris and the Euphrates. The name Mesopotamia means land between two rivers in Greek, and the civilization of Sumer came to form here. On this map, you can see the Fertile Crescent as it was around the year 3000 BCE. As you can see, the Fertile Crescent does form a crescent shape, and it does lie between two rivers, the Tigris and the Euphrates, with the ancient civilization of Sumer highlighted in purple. Geography of Mesopotamia. The soil in the region is rich and fertile and allows for productive crops. It also allowed for raising sheep, goats, and cattle. To the north, you can see there are foothills of mountains, and to the south, flat plains. This area looks and feels like a desert, but the soil is still good for farming. However, the south also floods often between the two large rivers. Farming the land. Despite the challenges, the Sumerians used technology to turn Mesopotamia into productive farmland. Remember that technology is the practical application of knowledge to accomplish a task. The Sumerians used technology to irrigate or supply water to their crops. They dug many miles of irrigation canals to bring water from the rivers to their fields. With irrigation, people transformed their environments so that crops could still get water during the hot, dry summer. People began settling in new areas where irrigation made growing crops possible, turning land into fields and building homes. Sumerians also developed a new way of planting crops. Earlier farmers used a wooden plow pulled by oxen when planting. The plow cut a long furrow or trench in the soil. Then the farmers dropped seeds into that furrow. But Sumerian farmers developed a seed funnel that they attached to their plows. As the plow moved forward, the seeds automatically dropped from the funnel into the soil and made planting faster and easier. City-states of Sumer. Around the year 3400 BCE, cities started forming in southern Mesopotamia using the rivers for irrigation. The first city to form was Uruk, and it had around 40,000 people. Other cities included Ur, Lagash, and Nippur. These cities became city-states, an independent state that includes a city and its surrounding territory. Each city-state had its own government, laws, and main god that they worshipped. The Sumerians developed a social class order with 3 classes. People of each class had distinct roles within the Sumerian society. The upper class includes the rulers, his top officials, powerful priests, wealthy merchants, and owners of large plots of land. Farmers and skilled workers made up the middle class, and the lowest class was mostly enslaved peoples. The city-states' governments and Sumerian religious beliefs, which were firmly connected, helped support this social order. The rise of social classes was a new development for human societies. Men generally had a higher social position than women, but women in the higher classes could gain power. Some could become priestesses, for example. When kings emerged, their wives also had some power. Religion in Mesopotamia. Sumerians practiced polytheism, the belief in more than one god. They believed that gods controlled all aspects of life, for example, the rain, the wind, and how well agriculture fared. Sumerian gods were thought to act like most people. They ate, they drank, they slept, and they got married. People believed if the gods were happy, they would bring good fortune, but if they were unhappy, they would bring war, floods, and disaster. Priests were believed to communicate with the gods, and they constructed temples called ziggurats. They could be as tall as 7 stories, and they were filled with paintings and statues. Here's a picture of one of these temples. Cuneiform was the writing system of the Sumerians. Around 8000 BCE, Sumerians began using different shaped clay tokens to represent various items of exchange, such as sheep or bread. By 3500 BCE, Sumerians began to press these tokens into clay tablets to make signs. They also began to mark the clay with sharp tools called a stylus. Then they created a true writing system that included symbols that represent words or syllables. Scribes recorded economic exchanges, myths, prayers, and laws. Eventually, conquering empires adapted cuneiform into their own culture. The Epic of Gilgamesh, written in cuneiform, is still read today. Sumerian achievements. Under the rule of priests and kings, Sumerians produced many advances in technology. You've already read about Sumerians' improvements to farming, such as their use of irrigation and their invention of the seed plow. You have read about their development of cuneiform, which allowed them to keep records. Innovations like the wheel and the sail also improved transportation. The Sumerians also made advances in mathematics and astronomy. Dividing an hour into 60 minutes and a minute into 60 seconds began with the Sumerians. They also divided the year into 12 months and 30 days each, much as we do today. Through trade, many of these Sumerian advances spread to other lands. Another important advance in technology was their development of bronze. The Sumerians were one of the first cultures to make bronze, which is made by mixing copper and tin. Bronze is a harder metal than copper, so it's better for making tools and weapons. Bronze weapons would later play an important role in the growth of cities into large, powerful states. Remember to complete both the pretest and the quick check for this lesson, and webmail your teacher if you have any questions.